Recently, I decided to take a nostalgic trip back into the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. But I wanted to challenge myself a little. So, I searched the internet and came across an old challenge called the Chuck Norris Challenge. The rules of this challenge are quite simple. No weapons, no armor, although clothes are allowed, and no direct damaging spells. This means unarmed combat is what we will be utilizing, along with restoration, alchemy, and other useful skills. Pretty much anything that can give us any sort of advantage over what we are going to face. I'm not sure if I can even do this, but I'm definitely willing to find out. So without further ado, let's begin our journey. First things first, and that's our character creation. Now there are a few good choices here, and I know Khajiit start with a +10 to hand-to-hand combat. However, my choice is going to have to be Orc. Orcs only receive a +5 to hand-to-hand combat, but they also have higher strength and endurance stats. This will give me a better time surviving. At least I hope.
Kill him. He might be working with the assassins.
No, he is not one of them. He can help us. He must help us.
The birth sign I decided to use was Warrior. The birth sign will give us a bonus 10 points in both strength and endurance. This paired with Orc should give us some pretty decent starting stats. When it comes to class, creating your own will see the most benefit, because we can choose what we are actually going to need. For specialization, I picked combat, and the main attributes I want to build around is strength and endurance. For my 7 major skills, I have chosen acrobatics. This will allow us to jump long distances and avoid fall damage. Alchemy, for all our potion needs. Alteration, providing us a way to shield from physical and magical damage. Athletics, to run, swim, and regenerate lost fatigue faster. Hand-to-hand, for our main offensive weapons. Illusion, this should provide a way to overcome the tougher fights or to take down the hard-to-reach enemies. And restoration, to help us stay alive. Everyone, meet Knuckles the Orc. Now with the race, birth sign, and class chosen, we are ready to begin our challenging quest to restore a new emperor and end the threat of the Oblivion Gates. Now since the goal in this challenge is to beat the game, our first quest in the main storyline is to deliver the amulet. So off we go to meet Joffrey.
I'm Brother Joffrey. What do you want? You brought me the Amulet of Kings? This cannot be. Let me see it. By the Nine! This is the Amulet of Kings. Who are you? How did you get this? What do you know of the Emperor's death?
After speaking with Joffrey, we pick up the next quest. Find the Heir. Martin, or the Heir, is located in Kvatch. So that's where we're headed next. It doesn't take us long after arriving to discover the town is overrun with Daedra, flooding out of an Oblivion Gate. And we're in the action. Time to put these fists to good use.
Yeah! Whoa! Yeah! Yeah!
The Now with the Oblivion Gate down, it's time to rescue Martin and return to Joffrey. Once we make our return, we encounter the Mythic Dawn.
Not on this day.
After smashing our way through that mess and rescuing
You're
Joffrey,
back.
we pick up the
Thank
next quest.
Talos.
That quest I cannot pronounce is to travel to Cloud Ruler Temple, the home of the Blades. But first, I'm going to take a quick trip to the arena in the Imperial City. A tip for anyone watching, outside of the arena there will be 2 people sparring. Stand nearby and watch them spar for a few moments, and you will be rewarded with a +5 to your hand-to-hand combat. This is going to be super useful to us. One more thing I want to do before continuing with the main questline though, is grab some new clothes to replace these old rags. Clothes are allowed in this challenge as they are purely cosmetic, so don't provide any stats or armor. Anyway, now I'm looking like royalty, it's time to proceed. So Cloud Ruler Temple, here we come.
As the Grand Master of the Blades, I would be honored to accept you into our order. Will you join us?
After joining the Blades, we start our path to the Mythic Dawn.
I've shopped there a few times. If you're looking for soul gems, that's the place.
This quest requires us to run around and collect the 4 volumes of books from the
They say
Mythic
the
Dawn.
Daedra came from Oblivion and burned the whole city to the ground.
No.
After running, taking out some goblins, and running some more, I finally collected the Mythic Dawn books and discovered the hidden message within. Green Emperor Way, where tower touches midday sun. After following the clues, we find a map to the location of the Mythic Dawn's shrine. This begins our next main story quest, Dagon Shrine.
So saith Lord Dagon, praise be.
Your reward, brothers and sisters. The time of cleansing draws nigh. I go now to paradise. I shall return with Lord Dagon at the coming of the dawn.
Once we have infiltrated the Mythic Dawn, we find Mankar Cameron, who is in possession of the amulet.
Unbeliever.
Unfortunately, we can't obtain that just yet. We are now a part of the Mythic Dawn, but what I really want from here is the Mysterium Xarxes. I decided just to nab the book and fight my way out. I'm glad I fought through here, as doing so granted us a level up. I managed to locate a bed and put the points into strength, agility, and speed. Then continued my way out of the dungeon. Now that we have made our way out of there, we must return to Martin and hand over the book.
Ah, you're back. I told Joffrey not to worry. I can see you've had bad news. You didn't recover the amulet, did you? By the Nine! Such a thing is dangerous even to handle. Forgive me. You were right to bring it, but you'd better give it to me. I know some ways to protect myself from its evil power.
And now that Dagon Shrine quest is completed, we're off to find the Mythic Dawn spies. This one didn't take me long, and we found the documents with our enemy's plans. This means, you guessed it, back to speak with Joffrey and Martin.
The Xarxes mentions 4 items needed for the ritual, but so far I have only deciphered one of them. The blood of a Daedra lord. In fact, Daedric artifacts are known to be formed from the essence of a Daedric lord, from whence they derive their great power.
This begins our next quest, Blood of the Daedra. For this, we need to acquire a Daedric artifact. I decided to go with Sheogorath, because apart from being one of my favourite characters in the Elder Scrolls, it also only requires you to be level 2. After a somewhat peaceful stroll, I arrive at the shrine of Sheogorath. We now place our offerings in order to speak with him.
Another mortal dares to summon me, and already I'm bored. But enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Sheogorath instructed me to simulate a prophecy, and told me to speak to the nearby town's shaman for more information. After arriving in town, we meet the local shaman.
Have you heard any word about the other provinces? Welcome to Border Watch, stranger. You're welcome here. I am Rabasa, shaman of our people.
However, he didn't want to tell me any information surrounding the prophecy, so I had to persuade him a little first.
Don't try to manipulate me. I accept. Not bad. Not bad at all.
After he informs us on what the prophecy is, it's time to get to work. First of all, we need cheese.
How do you do?
I've placed the cheese in the cooking pot, and the smell should soon attract rats, fulfilling the first step in simulating the prophecy.
No one even knows who'd like to talk about. No time to talk. I have to get rid of these rats. These are troubling signs.
We now must take the poison laid for the rats and poison the sheep. After this step, Sheogorath will thank you for completing the first 2 steps in the prophecy, and will simulate the third himself.
Well, mortal, I'm amused, I think. Head into the center of Border Watch, and make sure to duck.
Wolves on fire, falling from the sky. Honestly, I wouldn't expect any less from Sheogorath. This now completes the Prophecy of Fear, and we can return to the shrine to collect our
Good
reward.
times. Good times. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Here, take this. It's a fun little toy. Now go away before I kill you.
Ah, the Wubberjack, a powerful Daedric artifact. With this, we can return to Martin and continue with the main story.
I won't ask what you went through to obtain this, my friend. I know all too well the depravity of the princes of Oblivion.
After handing over the artifact, we get our next main quest, the Bruma Gate.
Thanks for coming. Since we had the Hero of Kavach available, I didn't think it made sense to try this on our own the first time.
Another Oblivion Gate has opened in Bruma. Guess it's time to lend a hand or two. These scamps weren't too much trouble, and it was fun beating them down.
Look out!
I'm still at very low level, and the enemies in Oblivion scale with you.
Here comes another one.
Yeah!
Fighting my way up the tower wasn't too difficult either, and we managed to reach the Sigil Stone and close the Oblivion Gate.
Good evening, sir.
Good work. Captain Bird and his guardsmen should be able to handle any additional gates, at least for now.
After reporting my success to Joffrey, we pick up our next quest, Blood of the Divines. For this, we need to locate the Shrine of Tiber Septim and recover his ancient armor. Time to hit the road again. For a game released in 2006, the visuals and countryside of Tamriel are still so visually pleasing. It's easy to see why this game won so many awards, and it is easy to become immersed in this world. Now that I've located the site of the shrine, it's time to fight my way in. Here's where I learned that I can't punch ghosts. Unfortunately, my hand-to-hand was slightly too low, and I'm pretty sure in order to hit them, I needed 50 points in my hand-to-hand skill. I had to just avoid the ghosts and run to complete the objective, which was now to destroy the 4 cursed blades.
Here!
After freeing the souls of the cursed blades, I made my way into the Shrine of Tiber Septim. The ghosts of the now freed blades removed the evil enchantment, and we were able to collect the armor of Tiber Septim. The next thing Martin requests of us is a powerful stone that I cannot pronounce. So we delved into a dungeon, took out a few skeletons, and collected this stone.
You're back, and you've got the great stone. You did. I can count on you. I never thought to see a great Welkin stone, as beautiful as all the old tales tell.
After handing over the stone, we are now able to talk to the Countess, thus beginning the defense of Bruma.
Greetings. What news from Cloud Ruler Temple?
Martin
Septim!
Martin
Septim! Martin Septim!
Martin Septim!
Martin
Septim!
Martin!
Martin!
This is where things really started to heat up.
Soldiers of Cyrodiil, do you stand with me?
Here comes another one.
Oh!
Here comes another one.
I started to worry a little as my health was low, but I had stockpiled potions and made sure to make good use of my restoration. I couldn't stick around outside the gates, so I decided it was time to push forward. I entered the Great Gate, where the Daedric siege engine was crawling towards the portal. Time to put an end to this.
Whoa!
The enemies in here were a lot stronger than what I'd previously faced, but giving up was not an option. I eventually, after a tough fought battle, made my way up the tower to the Sigil Stone, just in time to stop the Daedra in their path. With the Great Gate now closed, the battle for Bruma has been won. A great victory indeed. The next step in our grand challenging quest is to travel to Paradise and retrieve the Amulet of Kings. After traversing the path and pummeling our foes, we finally made our way to where Mankar Cameron resides.
Ah!
I have waited a long time for you, champion of old Tamriel.
The dawn is breaking! Power! You'll never take me down! Be glad you show me time beyond fear. The pain redeems me. Survive the cleansing.
That's better. My vision.
Turns out he was no match for my Fists of Fury, and we can now take back the Amulet of Kings. After his death, we are returned to Cloud Ruler Temple.
You found a way back. Does this mean... You did it. You defeated him. Then you have it. You have the Amulet of Kings.
The Amulet of Kings has now been returned to the rightful heir, thus completing our quest, Paradise.
We must get to the Temple of the One immediately.
As you command, sire. Guards, form up and protect the Emperor. To the Temple of the One.
This brings us to the final quest, Light the Dragonfires. Once again, we get to put our hands to good use. Ah, Lord Dagon, we finally meet. Time to get inside and put an end to this once and for all. So, can you beat Oblivion with no weapons or armor? The answer is yes. And with that, the Chuck Norris challenge is complete. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and thank you if you made it this far. I had a lot of fun playing Oblivion, and it definitely brought back a lot of nostalgic memories. If you want to support the channel, please leave a like and consider subscribing for future content. Well, that's all I've got for this one. Until next time, peace.